What is up, everyone? James Baek here, and welcome back to another episode of VGC 2017 back-to-back battles. We have a team. We're going against Devon, 1608 rating with the Hariyama, the Gigalith, Araquanid, Marowak, Oranguru, and the Celesteela. We're still using the Drifblim team. And guys and girls out there, today, if you weren't watching, Anaheim Regionals was being streamed. It's actually still being streamed right now, and I'm so excited. It got like all these high-level battles that we were able to see. I just like super excited for the mid-season showdown. I'll be competing next weekend in New Jersey, and I'm hoping to win because there are some really cool prizes. And I was basically just playing some Battle Spot a lot today, and unfortunately, I was testing out the Drifblim team. I'm still not sure if... I don't think I'm going to bring the Drifblim team, so I'm sorry about that. I was testing some moderations, but yeah. But still going to use it for VGC 17 back-to-back battles. We have a Hariyama, a Gigalith, Araquanid, Marowak, Oranguru, and Celesteela. I think I said that team already. What do I want to bring? He's most likely just going to lead Hariyama and the Araquanid. So I think my best lead here would be probably just Tapu, Fini, and Arcanine with Metagross in the back, and I think Garchomp. Yeah, Garchomp does a lot of work against my opponent's team, and what I'm going to try to do is play around this Trick Room, weaken the Sweepers, or weaken the Oranguru, and stall out Trick Room to prevent it. But yeah, the reason I don't like the Drifblim team, because I wouldn't probably bring in a high stakes term. The reason is I don't like Swagger as a move. And the reason for that is, so Swagger, I have used in the past. I actually used it the first regionals. I actually was trying like being competitive. I think I still like Ray Rizzo's 2012 Worlds team and used it like 2013 Philadelphia regionals. No, not Philadelphia, Massachusetts regionals. Ah man, dude, the stadium that was held, we had it in Gillette Stadium. That regionals was probably the best regionals venue I have still been to up to my date. It's still my favorite. But we've seen a Araquanid or Oranguru lead. I don't know if my opponent will just protect and attack, but I do carry a Wild Charge, so I will just go for a double knockout into Araquanid, I guess, it's a huge threat. But what was I trying to say? Oh, yeah, so, yeah, I don't like self-swaggering anymore because it's 85% accurate instead of 90%, and relying on an 85% accurate move to win the game is kind of, I really don't like it. I also don't like Metagross just 90% accurate moves. It doesn't really fit well with the synergy that I have. So we have a Life Orb Wall Charge going out into Arachnid. It is going to put in Moonblast range, and we will probably be able to get a KO right here. So that is nice. I don't think my opponent expected the Wall Charge. It's not a very common move on Arcanine. Well, it is semi-common, but it's not the most popular, especially with Tapu Fini. You can see usually more bulky support Arcanines, but I do carry the Life Orb Wall Charge. And actually, I don't think without that Life Orb, which isn't as common as an item on Arcanine, we were able to pick up the KO with the Moonblast, which I don't think my opponent was expecting unless I had Specs Fini. But luckily that Life Orb really coming in clutch. I really do love Life Orb Arcanine. Close combat on Porygon 2 has been really clutch. We're going to see the Gigalith come in and... Whew, that's not Sandstream. So it's Sturdy actually. Very interesting choice for my opponent. I guess my opponent really doesn't want Weather on his team. I mean, Sturdy's not a bad ability, but losing that special defense is pretty huge. I'm going to double protect. Actually, no, I'm going to protect Fini and switch out my Arcanine to Metagross. I'm not... Maybe I should just switch on to Garchomp. No, I'm going to go into Metagross because Metagross has higher base defense, so I should be taking the Rock Slides just fine. So I want to see what my opponent will go for. Maybe Continental Crush, too. But Metagross should be able to eat up the Rock Slides like nobody's business, as we are just going to see the Rock Slide come out from my opponent. And Metagross actually dodges the first one. That's actually, I don't think it matters too much unless my opponent carries Earthquake. So let's see. It's going to be another Rock Slide. How much damage is this going to do to Metagross? I would assume maybe 20? Or 20 something. Yeah, it's going to be like 23 damage, so it wouldn't have done much damage. I guess I could scout for Earthquake now. Or my opponent could just keep going for Rock Slides. What does my opponent have in the back potentially? Marowak, there's Hariyama, Celesteela. Metagross doesn't really help much. I guess against the Hariyama, but Fini can do the same work. I think I'll hard back into the Arcanine and get chip damage on this Oranguru and put it into Tectonic Rage range. So once Trick Room expires, I can do that. Gonna go out into my Arcanine here, which is gonna be able to get the Intimidate off onto this Gigalith. So if it does carry Earthquake, it could be Instruct Earthquake along with what is the ability Telepathy. Yeah, it's going to be that Earthquake. So I'll probably be losing Arcanine, but I don't really mind losing Arcanine. Actually, maybe I do, because Celesteela could not be a problem. Actually, what's cool is my opponent actually is not carrying... it's actually not carrying the Telepathy. It's going to be carrying the Inner Focus ability, it looks like. So Earthquake is going to do a lot and knock out my Arcanine, but with the Intimidate, the Rock Slide didn't matter because it doesn't KO me anymore. We are able to get a Meteor Mash off into the Oranguru, so let's see what kind of item it's carrying. No berry, so it's not Citrus Berry. I can now go out into my Tapu Fini once again, and I think I could just click... how many times the Trick Room are left? Let's count. 2 turns left, okay. So I could just go for a Muddy Water here, in my opinion, and just switch on to Garchomp. I think we could see Earthquake. Well, I don't think we see Earthquake because that would knock out your own Oranguru. So we'll probably just see Rock Slide and try to flinch me a bunch. But Metagross is still useful for the end game, and Tapu Fini's not going to take much because of that Intimidate that we got onto that Gigalith earlier. So getting in Garchomp, double protecting, then we threaten with Tectonic Rage. We're trying to break the sturdy on Gigalith and potentially pick up a knockout. So Garchomp's going to come out here, as Gigalith is going to go for a Rock Slide, and I'm guessing it's going to be the Instruct Rock Slide, or it could be like a Psychic, I guess. Psychic would probably be the best play. Yep, Psychic is going to come out, target down the Tapu Fini, trying to weaken the Fini, but unfortunately Fini does flinch on the first Rock Slide. So that is great, but Fini does get another chance as long as it hits one Muddy Water. Maybe I should just Moonblast. Actually, yeah, I think I'll go for the Moonblast into Gigalith and protect Garchomp right here. Or I could just Swords Dance, to be honest. Or I could Tectonic Rage. Because I'm not really threatened, and since he's shown Psychic, it's probably not going to be foul play. I'm going to Swords Dance. I'm a man, I want to Swords Dance right here. Because there's no reason to protect right here, to be honest, in my absolute opinion, because now I can get a free Swords Dance up and knock out whatever is in the back. And if it sells Steel in the back, of course it's going to be annoying for my team to handle, which is why I want to go for the Swords Dance right here. Swords Dance is probably the best play here, because it allows Rock Slide to do a lot. We're going to see Gigalith protect, which is actually a really good play by my opponent. My opponent's going to be able to keep the sturdy, as we see the Psychic come out, and it's going to target down Tapu Fini again, so... And lower my special defense, which, I don't know, could matter. So I'm going to grab my charger real quick. So we do get the Swords Dance up with the Garchomp. And now I feel like we're in a very solid position to actually just start sweeping. Okay, so I want to actually keep Gigalith on the field. Because keeping Gigalith on the field makes it... Because I want to KO the Oranguru, but I don't want to activate a weakness policy on Gigalith because that can make the Gigalith actually scary because it would be able to knock my Tapu Fini. We're going to see the Protect from the Oranguru, which is actually completely fine because as long as I break the Sturdy by connecting with this Rock Slide, I should be able to win the game. We do connect with the Rock Slide. Excellent, and that should be able to win us the game. That Rock Slide does a lot at +2 actually. Moonblast is going to come out into the Oranguru, as Gigalith actually flinches. Unfortunate for my opponent, but a Rock Slide wasn't going to do much anyway. Maybe Explosion? Trying to get some damage. It would have knocked out the Tapu Fini or my Garchomp, but it might have put it into range of Heavy Slam from the Celesteela. So, I didn't get a Calm Mind up, but I think Moonblast will knock out the... I don't want to risk it, do I? I really don't want to risk Moonblast not picking up the KO. I think I'll go for the Calm Mind with Fini here and just Tectonic Rage to Oranguru. Yeah. So Oranguru's actually going to try to double protect and fails. That's fine. I'm going to get a KO onto this Oranguru 100%. I mean, the reason I was worried is because Wide Guard could have been a move for my opponent. I would have been able to Rock Slide my opponent. And then if he was able to get Trick Room up, it makes the game a lot harder for me, and I could actually lose to one of his Trick Room Supers in back. Hariyama, Marowak could have swept me with Instruct Shadow Bones, so I didn't want to play that game. just going to knock out the Oranguru, and I didn't go for Muddy Water because, again, I don't want to activate a weakness policy. Because I'm not exactly sure, even with the sand is not up, I'm not confident in Tapu Fini to KO the Gigalith. And I could have missed it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It will be the Explosion actually coming out from my opponent. That's not going to KO my Pokemon at all unless my opponent gets a crit. Luckily, my opponent does not get a crit, and Gigalith does go down. So either way, Gigalith was going down. Either last turn or this turn, but my opponent would have had a free switch last turn, so let's see if it was a Pokemon that could have actually mattered. I think the only Pokemon that could actually matter is Celesteela. I don't think any other Pokemon could have changed the outcome of this game. Hariyama, I guess you fake out? Yeah, Marowak, that wasn't going to change the game. As long as I knocked out a Oranguru, the game was won, because... And, yeah, Explosion. Didn't really do much, because either way, it wouldn't have knocked out Garchomp, and I could just spam Earthquake once the Gigalith was gone, because he got rid of his only Wide Guard user. So I guess I could just protect Earthquake, I guess, and then Rock Slide and Muddy Water the following turn, because, yeah, as my opponent is going to forfeit. Very interesting, that game, yeah. So I'm guessing it was Mental Herb Oranguru. I'm guessing the Gigalith was Z-move, but Sturdy was very interesting on the Gigalith. But did still make it, I mean, I guess Sandstream wouldn't have done much, but it does prevent my leftovers recoveries, which could have been huge for my opponent because I might have actually been knocked out by the Explosion. So it could have actually mattered. But Sturdy, I mean, I guess it didn't really matter too much between Sturdy and Sandstream damage-wise, is because I never went for Muddy Water against my opponent. The only moves that connected were Rock Slide and Tectonic Rage onto the Gigalith. So either way, I think we were in a fine position. But we're going to go against a 1572 rated player from Japan. We're going to see the team of the Golduck, Pelipper, Crocodile, Tapu Lele, Gengar, and Magnus. We faced this team, didn't we? Didn't we face this exact team? People help me out. I'm very confident that we faced this team. Wasn't it Scarf Crocodile? Wasn't this a game we were about to lose, but we had Tectonic Rage? Okay, I'm confused. I'm pretty sure we faced this opponent. I think we lead Drifblim, Tapu Fini. No, I think Garchomp was faster than Tapu Lele, so I have no reason not to bring it, and I'll have Tapu Koko in the back. Yeah, because Sash Tapu Koko is the reason why this team can actually beat Rain, because otherwise I don't think my team could actually beat Rain, to be honest. I don't remember the items. Gengar? Okay. This is very confusing because I'm pretty sure we faced this team, but if we didn't, the item mind game is confusing because... Let's talk. Pelipper's a Pokemon that really likes to carry Focus Sash, is able to get Tailwind up. Was this the guy with Ice Beam? But, yeah. Gengar's a Pokemon that likes Focus Sash, but it can carry Life Orb as well. There's so many different item mind games. There's also Scarf Gengar that has been common in Japan for a while, so we're going to see the Gengar and the Crocodile. It could be Z-move too. I just realized it could be Z-move on the Gengar. Intimidate is going to come out from my opponent. If I had Metagross, this would have been a perfect time to switch it in. But I guess Garchomp could do the same thing, to be honest. As we are going to get our Misty Seed up. Yeah, we could just Tailwind switch on to Garchomp. I don't think my opponent can actually do anything. Yeah, I'm just going to Tailwind and switch into Garchomp because Garchomp can eat up the poison attack from the Gengar. I can go for Self-Swaggers the following turn. Let's see if this was Scarf Crocodile. Let's see if it was. I'm pretty sure poison was the Gengar or something. I don't know. I don't think it's Sash though. We do get the Tailwind up. It's going to be the Sludge Bomb from the Gengar. It's actually faster and it will target down my Garchomp. Not doing too much fortunately, as it's going to be Crunch from the Crocodile, and it will target down my Drifblim, which we are able to survive. Excellent. Excellent. And now what we can do is go for the Swagger. Actually, did he have Terrain? He had Tapu Lele. Okay. So maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just go for Acrobatics and Earthquake. But the problem is you can protect Gengar, switch into the Tapu Koko, but I don't feel like this is a bad play at all if I can break a potential Focus Sash on one of my opponent's Pokemon. I don't really mind losing Garchomp that much because it really doesn't do much in the matchup other than just hard damage overall. I guess I do need it for Lele though. But Gengar's actually going to withdraw, which is fine. It's going to be that Pelipper that's coming out. So this Acrobatics is still going to do a decent amount of damage. And we'll see what the Crocodile does. I don't know if it's going to be like a Z move. I should have just Rock Slide because it was in my gut to Rock Slide. But yeah, just Acrobatics is fine. We're going to get an Earthquake off. It's going to do some chip damage. Maybe I should have just went for the Swagger and the Earthquake. But I really want to break the potential Focus Sash. Because Focus Sash Life Orb Gengar was a potential. Oh, we're going to see the Roar onto Garchomp. Very interesting play. Tapu Koko comes in. Oh, man. This is great. This is great. This is actually great. Because his Crocodile is now in Dazzling Gleam range. And I can Acrobatics the Pelipper. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm just going to Dazzling Gleam Acrobatics. I don't think this Pelipper carried Wide Guard if I was correct. Actually, this is a completely different team. Yeah, but not many Pelippers carry Wide Guard anymore. They carry like Scald, Hurricane, Tailwind, and Protect. So I'm just going to get a free Dazzling Gleam. However, my opponent might get Tailwind up unless... Wow, we didn't even crit the Pelipper. I honestly thought we did crit the Pelipper for a second there. But Dazzling Gleam Acrobatics was just able to KO. Okay. Was not expecting that, but I thought maybe I could get a Tailwind Drifblim because of the Unburden boost allowing me to be like super speedy and maybe set up a Tailwind potentially. But we're going to see Gengar come back in, and it's going to be probably the Golduck. It is going to be the Golduck coming in. So this is still going to be a tricky position because I still have no idea who's Sash. But if I get rid of Gengar, I'm able to win straight with my Tapu Fini, I feel like. So I'm going to double up the Gengar because Hydro Vortex is not going to KO my Tapu Koko. So either way, I feel like I'm in a fine position. Golduck's actually going to protect. Let's see if Gengar protects or not. Nice. We're going to get an Acrobatics off and a Thunderbolt. The reason why I didn't make this play is because, okay, here's what happens. Here's what happens, right, if I don't make this play. The Golduck goes for the Hydro Vortex, targets down my Tapu Koko, right? I survive a Focus Sash. No big deal. And then Tailwind does peter out, but my opponent's then forced to attack one of my Mons, right? And if you attack Drifblim, my Koko still has the Focus Sash, and it actually outspeeds Gengar if it isn't Choice Scarf. And even if it is Choice Scarf, I still carry my Focus Sash, so I'm able to pick up a knockout the following turn. So, Tailwind Thunderbolt, and if, yeah, I had no reason, and yeah, and if he didn't protect, I'd get rid of the Gengar. Either way, Golduck plus Gengar couldn't have done much because I either set up a Tailwind and win the game from there, or my Tapu Koko keeps his Focus Sash and is able to pick up the KOs that it needs to. So either way, I feel like I had the game locked. Unless my opponent got a Scald, it crit me, and then it burned me. Because Scald, I believe, does not knock out Tapu Koko, even with poor special defense, and I think we live one burn turn. So that was my thought process for that game. I still feel like I made the best play possible there, and I feel like the Dazzling Gleam might have been hurtful if my opponent carried Wide Guard, but Wide Guard is so rare these days on Pelipper that you don't really expect it as much. We're going to find a 1698 rated player from Japan with the team of... Oh boy, wasn't this like a team... Didn't I face this earlier? I feel like I faced this person earlier. I think I faced this person earlier. Oh no, wait, no, there was no Tapu Koko. It was like, what? Tapu Fini, I think? Okay. So my opponent's got the team of Porygon 2, Gigalith, Garchomp, Arcanine, Celesteela, and the Tapu Koko. This is a very, very annoying team for my team to face. I like Arcanine, Tapu Koko here, to be completely honest. It just does so much work. I don't like Drifblim here, because Drifblim, even though I'm able to sell Swagger, doesn't do as much. I think Garchomp plus Fini is the best, because I am really worried about that Garchomp, so Fini is a must, and Garchomp with that Tectonic Rage might be able to knock out the Garchomp after some chip damage that I can get off. So I feel like this is the best play. The problem is I don't know if my opponent is Scarf Chomp, because Scarf Chomp is very popular in Japan, especially in best of one battle spot. I can tell you that for a fact. We're going to see the Tapu Koko and Arcanine lead from my side, as we're going to see the Tapu Koko and Arcanine lead from my opponent's side. Okay. So unfortunately we don't have Volt Switch. My opponent most likely does, so we're in actually not the best situation. We're going to see a faster Arcanine from my opponent's side, so that's definitely offensive Arcanine if I do say so myself. You don't really run a fast Arcanine. Like, max speed Arcanine that was bulky was something that was popular in the beginning of the format. We don't really see that anymore. We usually see either very specially defensive, bulky Arcanine, maybe physically defensive. I don't think we see that anymore. Special defensive is probably the better one. Or we see fast, offensive Arcanine. So, that's probably fast Arcanine. Thunderbolt won't knock me out. I think the best place is switch the Koko out and get the Fini in for the terrain. We're probably just going to see a Volt Switch into Garchomp, aren't we? So maybe I should just Wild Charge the opponent's Arcanine just for the chip damage. And I think I'm going to do that. So I'll go out into my Tapu Fini, expecting the Volt Switch from the Tapu Koko, and Wild Charge the Arcanine to put in range of Muddy Water. This could be a terrible play. If he just Thunderbolts, could be a terrible play. But I'm really expecting a Volt Switch into the Arcanine and trying to go back into that Garchomp. So Arcanine actually protects. This is already turning out to be the worst play possible. Is this Discharge? Oh, it's Volt Switch. Okay. Into Arcanine. Okay. It is Life Orb on that Tapu Koko. We just confirmed. And show me Garchomp, because that would be basically what I predicted. Yeah. So basically I did make the right play, except I didn't target the right slot. Well, either way, I would have taken a lot of chip damage if I Flare Blitz Tapu Koko slot, so nothing I could really do. I love Volt Switch. I love Volt Switch on this monster, but the problem is he can double up onto my Fini. I don't know if he's going to do that, but it's definitely a possibility. I think my best place is switch out Arcanine and go out into my Garchomp. And I guess protect, because I don't want to take a Wild Charge plus Tectonic Rage, and Garchomp already protected, so unless my opponent goes back into Celesteela, I don't see a reason not to make this play. It's Garchomp's actually going to protect. It's this Wild Charge coming out, because that's what I'm kind of expecting here. It's Tapu Fini protects. Let's see what this Arcanine goes for. It should be a Wild Charge into Fini. Snarl! Wow. That completely caught me off guard. But that's alright, that's alright. I don't know what my opponent brought as his fourth Pokemon though. Garchomp, Arcanine, Tapu Koko, Celesteela maybe? Well, I know that the Garchomp's a big threat to my team, so I'm going to try to knock it out with the Tectonic Rage plus Moonblast. Maybe I should just Muddy Water. Muddy Water will put in range. Yeah, I think Muddy Water is the best play. I'm hoping that Arcanine switches down to Celesteela, because I could definitely see that as a play, like expecting Tectonic Rage and a Moonblast. I could also see Garchomp switching to Celesteela. Garchomp already protected, so I can get either a knockout on Garchomp, and we do see the Arcanine withdraw. That's fantastic. Celesteela is coming in. Excellent. Let's see what my opponent went for. I really need this Garchomp out of the way. I think my team can do really well against my opponents if I'm able to get rid of the Garchomp. We are going to see that Earthquake, which actually is unfortunate for me. But we are able to get a Z-move off, and that will knock out my opponent's... Garchomp. And that's huge. That's actually huge. As we are going to unleash our full Z-move, get the Tectonic Rage off. And I feel like now to win the game, all I need to do is now knock out the Tapu Koko. Because Tapu Koko could still be a problem. Tectonic Rage will connect. That should probably bring into the red or knock it out straight out. It is a roll. Yep. Muddy Water, Celesteela avoids, but the Garchomp hits. Thank you. And unfortunately, I did go for the Muddy Water, trying to catch the Celesteela on a switch, potentially from the Arcanine, but that's alright, because Flare Blitz is still going to KO the Celesteela at full health, no matter what, but if I have to Thunderbolt it with Tapu Koko, it does not KO anymore, so that's a bit of a bummer. So, let's see what my opponent's going to bring out here. Probably the Tapu Koko. Yeah. And it is Life Orb Tapu Koko, so that's like the scary thing. I think I double protect here because I want to scout out what my opponent wants to do here. We could also see a protect from the Tapu Koko and maybe Celesteela trying to heavy slam. Yeah, this is still going to be tough because Tapu Koko is just such an annoying Pokemon for this team to handle. Especially since I don't have speed control. We're going to protect our Garchomp as well as protect the Fini. Like, I could have made the read with the other, but that's kind of risky right here, and I don't feel like I need to right here. Dazzling Gleam is going to come out from my opponent, as well as a substitute. Okay. Ooh. That could change the game. That could definitely change the game. Now I kind of wish that Muddy Water hit. Because I could have gauged what kind of Celesteela this is, if it's special defensive or not. I feel like he goes for Dazzling Gleam again. Well, he doesn't need to. I actually think he might Thunderbolt the Fini this time. So I'm actually going to Earthquake and Muddy Water. Because if I'm able to get rid of this Tapu Koko, I think I win the game. So I'm going to try to Earthquake here. Predicting maybe him to over-predict me. Might want to switch into Arcanine for the Dazzling Gleam. And he might just want to go for the Thunderbolt or the Volt Switch into Fini. Either way, I get a KO on the Arcanine that comes in. And Tapu Koko is forced alone. So I could still win this game. I want to try to make this over-prediction that Tapu Koko might switch out. It's going to Volt Switch. Excellent. That KOs my Fini. Oh, yeah, with terrain. Wait, like, what was I thinking? Yeah, of course it was. So, this is still actually pretty annoying now. Because Arcanine's going to come in. We're going to get an Earthquake off. We are Intimidated, however, but this Arcanine doesn't seem to be bulky. It's pretty fast for an Arcanine, so get an Earthquake off. This should do a lot of damage. I'm guessing probably around 70%. 60%, okay. Is it a berry? It is going to be a berry. That's Citrus Berry. That's going to be a bit annoying because now I don't know if it's in Thunderbolt range or not. As Leech Seed is going to come out from the Celesteela and target on my Garchomp, which isn't bad at all for me. Garchomp is going to be seeded as he's able to get leftovers plus the Leech Seed. This is going to be a bit of an annoying stall worry right here. I can feel it. I can feel it. Hard into my Arcanine right here, in my opinion. Hard into my Arcanine. Get the Intimidate off onto my opponent's Arcanine. And now I think it comes down to whether my opponent has Will-O-Wisp or not. I think. My opponent might just try to double up Arcanine too, which is kind of what I'm expecting, to be honest. I'm going to go for a Swords Dance right here and protect my Arcanine, because I feel like you're forced to target down the Arcanine with Leech Seed. And I don't know what he would do with your opponent's Arcanine. Maybe Will-O-Wisp to Garchomp, but I don't think it's necessary. Or Toxic my Arcanine. Ooh. That's fast Arcanine. It outspeeds my Garchomp. That's max speed. We get Swords Dance up. And it does Leech Seed my Arcanine. So that's great. Okay. This is still pretty bad, I think. Okay. What we can do is just go for a Rock Slide, Flare Blitz into the Celesteela. The problem is the Celesteela is most likely going to protect here. It is his best play. We could also see a double protect right here, but I don't think that's the best play. I think my opponent should just protect Celesteela, sack the Arcanine, maybe get the Toxic off, and then we're in a bit of an annoying situation where I have to over-predict my opponent, I think. Oh, he didn't protect. Oh boy. Please land this Rock Slide. Please land this Rock Slide. I beg you. Maybe he thinks I'm bulky Arcanine. Please. Okay. Garchomp. Rock Slide. +1. This should break the sub on Celesteela. Let's go. Let's go. Show me. Show me the money. Nice. Nice. Flare Blitz. With the Life Orb will KO Celesteela. Let's go. Let's go. Out of here. Get him out of here. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. And Arcanine, unfortunately, will be feigning to the poison. Okay, we could still lose this game. But I think that just... Oh, we survived. Oh, that's big. Unfortunately, we don't have extreme speed. That's a bit problematic. Tapu Koko will come out, and now it comes down to speed ties, I think. So I'm going to protect my Garchomp right here and just sack my Arcanine, because now I can get my own Tapu Koko in, because I don't want to lose both my Pokemon here to the Dazzling Gleam and have it be single target onto my own Tapu Koko. So protect from my Garchomp, as Dazzling Gleam is going to come out and knock out my Arcanine. But now he's single target. Now we have a single target Dazzling Gleam against his double. This is such a close game. It actually comes down to if it's Tapu Koko's timid. I am timid. I'm timid max speed. If it's Tapu Koko's timid max speed, we find out here. And oh man, I'm surprised my opponent didn't just sack his own Arcanine and protect Celesteela, because he won the game if he did that. He 100% won the game, I think, if he did that, to be honest. I had to go off a choke right there. I'm going for the Rock Slide right here because I don't want to Earthquake my own Koko. And I think Dazzling Gleam does more. Base power 120, Thunderbolt plus stab plus electric terrain. I think Dazzling Gleam does more. Okay, he protects. I think my opponent was either scouting for a protect from my Tapu Koko and an Earthquake, or maybe just maybe wanting me to go for the Earthquake onto myself, because that's definitely a play I could have made, but not this game when it's actually like really, really big. Dazzling Gleam into the Koko. Come on. Oh no, it's a speed tie. Oh no. Oh no. It's a speed tie. Unless we crit him right here. Unless we crit him. We need to either win the speed tie or we crit him, because I don't think our Gleam is going to knock him out. If we were Life Orb, we would have. Speed ties are fun. Speed ties are fun. Go on, Koko. We worked so hard. The team has put in the work. Game. Checkmate. Oh my lord. That game was amazing. That game was actually amazing. I feel like I had to make the reads that I wanted to. I feel like I made the predictions. I mean, it still came down to 50-50s, but oh man. That was a close one, and I'm really glad I was able to show off. Hope everyone enjoyed today's episode of VGC 17 Back-to-Back guys. Was that another 3 wins? Why am I doing so well with the Drifblim team on YouTube? Well, actually, I feel like I do that a lot. Okay, so I feel like when I build teams for YouTube, they're more like showcases instead of like tournament-ready teams, because obviously if I tried to prepare for a tournament every week, I would be like overwhelmed. So I can't exactly make the highest level of competitive teams to show off, but I can show off certain Pokemon, their roles, and how they can be used in VGC. Give some diversity, because I feel like if I just focused on winning, I would probably be using the same couple of mons and it wouldn't be like as interesting. But instead, I can show some innovation, some high level games, and high level competitiveness at the same time. So I hope that everyone enjoyed. I don't know, because whenever I practice with like the teams I make for YouTube, I lose a lot. I lose a lot off camera. Trust me, I lose a lot off camera. But when I play the games, I can get serious and have some fun. So I feel like that's great. I hope that everyone enjoyed today's episode. If you did, smash that like button down below, as well as if you have a comment or want to say something about that last battle, which was insane. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Check out my social medias, my Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon. You can check out the previous episode of VGC Back-to-Back Battles if you missed it, or any of the previous episodes with the playlist down below, as well as check out the current team with a QR code and paste bin in the description down below. Otherwise, I will see you around in another episode.